All right, this is our Algebra 3 10B quarterfinal, second quarterfinal review video 2. If there's any other numbers we can throw on this, it is, it's fifth hour, okay, 2019-2020 school year. It is December 10th of that year, all right? We're going to start off with question 3. Okay, I think that's what we have left here. It says, find the equation of a line that's equidistant from the points 4, 3, and 0, -2. Now, there's a couple different ways to do this. We could do this the perpendicular bisector method, but I think whenever we were going over this lesson initially, after showing you the perpendicular bisector method, we still kind of preferred the distance formula equal to the distance formula method. All right, so with that method, right, we run something like this. So we're going to start off, and I need to calibrate this real quick because it's all over the map. Glad we get to record our calibration. Okay, let's try this. All right, so we're going to do x minus 4 squared plus y minus 3 squared. Does everybody understand that? I know we might not be able to see it very well, but do we understand it? Okay, we're using 4 and 3. 4 is an x, so x minus 4 squared plus 3 is a y, so y minus 3 squared. We use minus for positive numbers. Okay, over here we have x minus 0 squared, which should be the same as just x squared, but that's fine, plus y minus -2 squared, which will make positive after we've drawn it up. Okay? All right, the next part of this is foiling. Okay, we're going to drop off the square root. Please ignore the horrific screams occurring outside. I'm sure it's fine. All right, zombie apocalypse is probably not a real thing, and you'll all be fine, right? Okay, especially because I'm not totally sure how to lock that door from the inside. So we'll just do our best, okay? All right, so we need to FOIL the x minus 4. So that should give me x squared minus 8x plus 16. Is there anybody not quite sure how to do that or do that quickly? Okay, you just double the 4 and then you square the -4. So not really too bad. All right, plus y squared minus 6y plus 9. Any issues there? Nope. All right. Since, we're really only just getting x squared here because it's x minus 0. Okay, I'm not going to add 0x to 0x, and I'm not going to square 0. So that's just the way it is. Plus y squared plus 4y, right, plus 4, right, because we're working with a positive 2. Okay? Questions up to this point? Still none. That was a weird sound. Okay? You thought I didn't notice, but I did. All right, about to have to yell at some students out in the halls. Our x squareds and our y squareds are going to cancel out. Okay? Every time. All right, our object to this is, because we're trying to find the equation of the line that's equidistant to those 2 points, is we're trying to get this into y equals mx plus b form. So I want my constants and my x's to move to the right. I want my y values to move to the left. And then I'll divide by the coefficient of whatever y's I have. So I've got a positive 16, a positive 9. Those things added up together are what, 25? Right? Positive 25. So I'm going to subtract 25 from this 4 over here. Right? Let's see. So that gets rid of the 16 and the 9. We want to add this 8x. Right? Doesn't look like there's actually any other x's over here. Okay? And I want to subtract this 4y over here and move it over with this -6y. All right, so let's work from the left. We have -6y minus 4y. That should be what? -10y. Okay? I think everything else has been moved. Okay? We have only a positive 8x, and we have positive 4 minus 25, which should be what? -21? -21. Okay? Next thing we want to do is divide by negative 10. There for a second, Angeli, I forgot that you weren't in this class. I was like, just taking off and leaving. Just like in the middle of my class. Right, you got your percentages on there and everything. Cool, awesome score. Okay. Pull this down a little bit. Let's see if it'll let me from here. Okay. So what we're left with is y equals negative 4/5. Negative 4/5 x plus 21 over 10. Okay, and I don't think it'll reduce any further. All right, so let's take a look. What was this? Question number 3. Okay, question 3, checking our answer, y equals negative 4/5 x plus 21 over 10. Great. Questions, comments, concerns? Is this something we think we can do on quarterfinal day? Okay, great. All right, next one up is number 6. Number 6. If f of x equals 3x squared minus 4, right? We want to find f of x plus h minus f of x all over h, all right? So let's start off with f of x plus h. So that's going to be 3 times x plus h squared minus 4, right? That's f of x plus h. All right, you take the x, you set a set of parentheses there, and you sub in. Right? What am I subbing in? I'm subbing in x plus h. Okay? Did I do something wrong? Geneva's giving me some funky shade looks over here. Question? All right, look up here. F of x is 3x squared minus 4, right? So this is just f of x. All right? Now, where x is, I'm subbing in x plus h. So it goes in as a set of parentheses here. You got me? Now, I'm not done yet. Now it says subtract f of x. Well, f of x is 3x squared minus 4. But because I'm subtracting, I'm going to put it in the side of a set of parentheses because I'm going to have to distribute that negative. So 3x squared minus 4 all over h. Now, the next step, after I've got it written, is to simplify. Okay? So, I'm going to start off to the left. So we've got 3 times, and so I'm foiling x plus h. All right, so it's x plus h times x plus h, which is going to give you x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. Right? We familiar with that a little bit? If you have to, find an extra spot on your paper where you can go ahead and actually FOIL x plus h. You should get x squared plus xh plus xh plus h squared. You're combining xh and xh to get that 2xh. Okay, minus 4. I'm going to go ahead and distribute that negative while I'm working on it. So minus 3x squared plus 4. Okay. Now before I divide things by h, I want to go ahead and distribute my 3. So I'm getting 3x squared plus 6xh plus 3h squared minus 4 minus 3x squared plus 4. Right? And before I divide that by h, I might as well go ahead and combine like terms, right? Whether they cancel or combine. Okay. 3x squared, so what's going to happen there? Am I combining like terms or are they canceling out? Canceling out, okay. So I get rid of those, take things one step at a time. Do I have any other x plus h's? No, so 6xh, sorry, just stays. What about 3h squared? Just stays. Okay, what about my negative 4 and my 4? Cancel. All right, so I'm going to take these things. I got my 6xh plus 3h squared all over h. What do I notice about all 3 of those terms? They all have an h, so one h will cancel out in each spot, right? Leaving me with what looks like 6x plus 3h, okay? And I'm kind of interested. I don't know if they do this or not. What do we say? This was 6. Yeah, we leave it just like that. I was trying to see if they wanted to factor out a 3 or not, but they leave it just like this. Okay? Okay? 6x plus 3h. Yeah.
Whenever you get to like 6xh plus 3h squared over h, wouldn't you like split it into two terms, to make it to where you cancel out the h's? Technically, because
Technically, you're getting 6xh over h plus 3h squared over h. Yes, they're canceling out that way. But I don't have to go through that because I know that there's an h in each term. Okay? All right, are we good here? All right. Let's see, 12. 12. All right, so I've got 5. Okay, I just want to make sure there's not multiple parts here. 5 log base b x equals log base b 32. Right? Okay, now they are both in log base b, but I can't cancel it out because my left-hand side has a coefficient. So how can I get rid of that coefficient? By making it the exponent to x, right? So now what I have is log base b x to the 5th equals log base b 32. Now can I get rid of the logs? Yes, I can factor out the logs. So what do I get as I rewrite that? X to the 5th equals 32. All right, how do I find just x? Just x. The 5th root. Okay, 5th root of 32. Okay. All right, so this is what I do if I'm going to do this by hand, is try to break it down into primes and see if there's 5 of something that comes out. All right, 2, 16, 2, 8, 2, 4, 2, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 comes out exactly. Right, so x equals 2. Okay, double check with that on 12. X equals 2. Okay, and I know we're down towards the end, so probably fewer and fewer people have actually missed these, but somebody has, and so it's good for you to catch it, see it, understand what the steps are. All right, 13. Okay, we're on the halfway mark here. 13, at least for today, we have log base 4, 1/64th equals x. So this process actually starts by finding the exponential form, converting log form to exponential form. You got your percentage on it?
Yeah.
Great, thank you. Okay, so if I'm converting this to exponential form, what am I doing? How does this come out as I rewrite it? 4 to the x equals 1/64th. Okay, what do I do now? Because this one is really one that gives a lot of people a lot of trouble. Huh? I need to convert 64 to 4 to the power of. Right? So, 64, if I'm dividing that by 4, what do I get? Is that what, 16? 16, right, which is 4 and 4, right? So 64 is the equivalent of 4 to the 4, right? So I'm getting 4 to the x equals 1 over 4 cubed, right? Now, I want to move 4 cubed up, right? What happens as I move 4 cubed up? What happens to that exponent? It becomes a negative 3. X equals negative 3, okay? Because they're in the same position. Okay? Can we follow that at least a little bit? Okay? Number 20. Okay. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to start off. I'm going to draw this here. See something like this. We got X, Y, Z, W, and I know a bunch of you won't do it. Okay. It says YW bisects XYW or XYZ. Okay, so it bisects this. That means makes two congruent angles, right? An angle bisector, right? A ray that bisects an angle is going to create two congruent angles. That's going to say that YW bisects angle XWZ. So XYZ and XWZ, meaning that these two angles are congruent, right? Is that what we get from that? Okay, so in a statement reason, I'm going to list both those as givens, right? Okay. Our two-column proof wants us to show that YXW, okay, YXW, this triangle is congruent to this triangle, correct? Okay. I only really need one more part, correct? Does anybody know what that one more part is? What's one piece of missing information? Huh? I need a side and a reflexive axiom. Where is that reflexive axiom at? YW. So I'm going to say YW is congruent to YW. Okay, reflexive axiom. Okay, so I have that right there. Now, are those two triangles congruent? Yeah, triangle such and such is congruent to triangle, you know what, through the angle side angle congruency postulate, right? You really didn't need much there, right? Some of these proofs, although like proofs are intimidating, some of these proofs on these tests are just absolutely non-issues, okay? Now, the only thing that I have listed in here, which would go in here, and you probably should list, is that an angle bisector divides an angle into two congruent angles. I went ahead and I just drew those, but really we should state that and state it twice, so that we're saying that angle XYW is congruent to angle ZYW. That's not already stated. We should state that. And we should state that XWY is congruent to ZWY, because an angle bisector divides an angle into two congruent angles. So I know that I haven't written that up there, but can you guys make sure to list that?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Then I can say reflexive axiom. Then I can say angle side angle congruency postulate. Okay. Questions about that? Okay, and I'm looking. Yeah, and I disagree with the answer key that said angle side. I mean, very clearly to me, this is an angle side angle, and that's what I would go with. Okay. The shortest path is usually the best, especially when it comes to proofs. All right, that was 20. No, we need a 2 and 7. I know, I thought the same thing. Okay, just one more question. All right, 2. All right, the thing with 2 is being able to identify two actual coordinates. Okay, so with 2, you can go ahead and look at this, but I use 24, 150. Okay, so if you're looking at that graph, that's going to be that upper left spot. Okay, notice that the y-axis is starting at 50 and going up by tens. Okay, now the x-axis, right, what is that going up by? Because you need to check. Is it going up by tens? The x-axis along the bottom, what is it going up by? Well, what's the difference between, let's say, 44 and 52? Right? What, 8? So it's going up by 4s, right? Because there's a mark in between. All right, so if you look at the bottom, I would use 56. 56 and 50. Okay? And I've seen that pretty consistently on these graphs, that the bottommost and typically show up at a coordinate pair. Now, here's what I will tell you, what I'll do for you on quarterfinal day. If you will ask and remind me, I'll put the two coordinates up that you should use rather than guessing, because really this question isn't about whether or not you can find the right coordinate. It's once I've spotted two coordinates, right, what do I do with it after that? Okay? So this isn't what I'm testing you over, so if you ask me or remind me, I'll give you these numbers to work with. Okay? Now, the rest of this wants to know, based upon this, what is the equation of the line, right? Okay, so y equals mx plus b, what do I need to find? I need to find the slope first. So y2 minus y1, all right, you could do probably easy enough. And either way, I'm going to wind up with a negative because we know that that number's going, and we know it's going down anyway. So 50 minus 150 over 56 minus 24, right? All right, so we're getting negative, what, 100? What's 56 minus 24? What was that, 20, was it 22? I don't know. What is it? 20, is it negative 32? I think it's negative 32. Or sorry, not negative 32, positive 32. So I get negative 100 over 32. Emily, did you have a question? Let me look. Well, let's, I mean, we can fix it. We can change it and see what the difference is going to be. Okay, so what we're saying 50,000 minus 150,000. So I'm getting a minus 100,000, right? Okay, what's negative 100,000 divided by 32? Give me a fraction. I did it with just, I didn't change it, so I ended up with negative 25 over 8, which happened to be the same answer as the answer key. Let me check on this. Let me look and see if they do anything different with this. What did we say? This was 10B. 10B question 2. Okay, I don't want to steer you wrong. I'm looking. Yeah, no, they left it. They did not change it to thousands. And I'm looking at the actual test itself. They don't change it to thousands there either. So let's leave it like we've got it. And so we want what? Negative 25 over 8, okay, is my slope. Okay. From here, now I've got the slope. I need the y-intercept, correct? I have two ways of going about this. I can go ahead and take the information that I have and plug it into the slope-intercept form of the equation and solve for b, then plug b back into a slope-intercept equation where negative 25/8 is my slope. Or I can do y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, which does it all. There's no going back type of thing. So this one, this is what we want? Yeah. Okay. All right, good. All right, so which coordinate do we want to do? I would probably use, what's it, 5650? Okay, so we got y minus 50 equals negative 25/8 x minus, what, 56? Okay. Y minus 50 equals negative 25/8 plus 25 times 56 over 8.
Negative 125.
Shouldn't be, because it's a negative times a negative. So it comes out to straight 175. Cool. Okay. Now we're just going to add 50 to it, right? Add 50. So I get y equals, and I forgot my x there, negative 25/8 x plus, what, 225? There we go. That's it. Okay. Negative 25 divided by 8 times negative 56 should get you 175. If it doesn't, check that with me and see. Let's see. Okay. Okay, last one, 7. Is it? What was the last question we had? Yeah, except I don't trust the calculator on these. So our max is 6. We're starting off with a minimum of 3. We have k squared over 2 minus 2k, right? So I'm starting off with 3 squared divided by 2 minus 2 times 3 plus 4 squared divided by 2 minus 2 times 4 plus 5 squared divided by 2 minus 2 times 5 plus 6 squared divided by 2 minus 2 times 6. Okay. 3 squared is 9. 9 divided by 2, well, I'm getting 9 halves minus 6. Okay, or minus 12 halves, right? 9 halves minus 12 halves. So what, that would give me what, negative 3 halves? Okay, so I've got that. I'll add to it. 4 squared is 16. I got 16 divided by 2 is 8. So it looks like 8 minus 8, right? That's right, so plus 0 there. Here I've got 25 divided by 2, which is what, 12 and a half? Okay, minus 10. So what, I'm winding up with what, 2 and a half? Or 5 halves? Plus 5 halves. Okay, over here I've got 36 divided by 2, which is 18. 18 minus 12 is what, 6? Correct? Or 12 halves. Okay, I got everything in terms of half. I have negative 3 plus 5, which is 2, right? Okay, 2 plus 12 is 14. So I'm getting 14 halves, which is 7. Is that the answer you guys got for number 7? All right, and you got it from your calculator? That worked there too? If you're asking me what do you want to see on the test though for work, if you're going to plug it in your calculator, great, but in that box, I want to see that. Okay? Right. Yes. So I knew to stop at 6 because this number up here was 6. I know where to start. I knew to start at 3 because that number was 3. Okay? Yeah. Okay? Does that make sense now? Add in between because it's summation. And I'm only putting in 6, I'm only putting these numbers in where there's a K. All right? Any other questions? Actually, doing those 6 questions pretty well chewed up most of our time.